Lieutenant Olivia Martinez stood at attention as General Harris paced back and forth in front of her. The room was silent except for his heavy footsteps on the polished floor. "Lieutenant, do you understand what I'm asking of you?" General Harris finally stopped and looked her in the eyes. "Yes, sir. I am to represent Earth at the Galactic Council," Olivia replied, trying to keep her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Not just represent. You will be the first human most of these aliens ever meet. The impression you make will affect Earth's standing for generations." Olivia nodded. Just 3 months ago, the massive alien ship had appeared in Earth's orbit. First contact had gone well enough, but now the real work began. The aliens had invited Earth to join their Galactic Council, a group of over 50 different species who govern this section of the galaxy. The next morning, Olivia boarded the shuttle that would take her to the alien vessel Stellar Harmony. She carried only one small bag. The aliens had told them human clothes would not be suitable for the journey. As the shuttle docked with the massive ship, Olivia felt her stomach tighten. Through the window, she could see strange shapes moving about. Some had too many limbs. Others seemed to float rather than walk. A tall, thin alien with blue skin met her at the airlock. "Welcome, Human Martinez. I am Zexal, your guide for the journey to Council headquarters." Its voice came from a small device at its neck. "Thank you for having me," Olivia said, following Zexal down a curved hallway. The ship smelled like cinnamon, and something else she couldn't name. Her room was small but comfortable. The bed was round and filled with a gel-like substance that adjusted to her body. Olivia spent the first day resting and reviewing her briefing materials. On the second day, Zexal took her to the ship's dining area. "You will meet other council representatives here," it explained. The room was filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human, while others were so strange Olivia couldn't tell which end was the front. She sat at a table with 3 other beings. "Ah, the human has joined us," said a small feathered creature. "I am Plick, representative of the Avon cluster." "And I am Dorax," rumbled a large rocky-skinned being. "My people are the Granier." The third alien, who looked like a giant praying mantis, clicked its mandibles. "Kest of the Mantodea Collective. You are from a new world, yes?" Olivia nodded. "Yes, I'm from Earth. We're very new to space travel." "How exciting," Plick chirped. "How large was your clutch?" "My clutch?" Olivia asked, confused. "Yes, how many hatched with you?" Kest clarified. "Oh, you mean siblings. I have one brother." "A small clutch, then," Dorax nodded. "Quality over quantity, my people say." Throughout the meal, Olivia noticed many references to eggs and hatching. She made mental notes to ask about it later, but was too busy trying to eat with the strange utensils they had given her. After the meal, Kest approached her. "Human Martinez, I have been assigned as your assistant for council orientation. Your species file is incomplete. I will help you prepare." Over the next few days, Kest taught Olivia about council protocols, important species to know, and how to use the translation devices properly. The mantis-like alien was patient and thorough. "Tomorrow we arrive at Centric Station, the council headquarters," Kest told her on the 5th day. "There will be a formal introduction ceremony. Many will be curious about humans. I'll try not to disappoint," Olivia said. Kest's antennae twitched. "One question before we arrive. Your species' reproductive file is missing key data. It is common topic at first meetings. How many eggs do humans typically lay per clutch?" Olivia blinked in surprise. "Eggs? Humans don't lay eggs." Kest stared at her. "Fascinating. This will be a most interesting council meeting." Olivia didn't realize it yet, but her simple statement would soon turn the entire Galactic Council upside down. Olivia gazed out the viewport as the Stellar Harmony approached Centric Station. The massive structure looked like a giant metal flower floating in space, with petal-shaped sections extending from a central hub. "Impressive, isn't it?" Kest stood beside her, mandibles clicking softly. "It's beautiful," Olivia whispered. Earth's space stations looked like toys compared to this. After docking, Kest led Olivia through crowded corridors filled with aliens of all descriptions. Some moved on tentacles, others floated, and a few rolled like wheels. Many stopped to stare at the human. Your introduction ceremony is tomorrow, Kest explained. Tonight is an informal dinner with key council members. Olivia nodded, trying to hide her nervousness. She followed Kest to her new quarters, which were larger than her room on the ship but still designed for non-humans. The bed was nest-shaped, and the bathroom fixtures were puzzling. That evening, Kest returned to escort her to dinner. Olivia wore her formal Earth uniform, which felt stiff after days in the comfortable alien clothing. The dining hall was enormous, with a high ceiling that changed colors like an aurora. Long tables were arranged in a spiral pattern. At the center sat the most diverse group of beings Olivia had ever seen. The inner circle is for senior representatives, Kest explained. You will sit with them as Earth's first contact. A tall, elegant alien with silver skin stood as they approached. Welcome, Human Martinez. I am Skeltor, Council Facilitator. Its voice was musical, like wind chimes. Thank you for inviting Earth to join the Council, Olivia said, bowing slightly as she had been instructed. Zeltor guided her to a seat between a six-armed furry creature and a being that seemed to be made of crystal. Food was served in small bowls, each containing something different. Olivia carefully tried each dish, finding some delicious and others barely edible. As the meal progressed, conversation flowed around her. Most questions were about Earth, its climate, population, and technology. Olivia answered as best she could, relaxing as the aliens seemed genuinely interested. And what of your personal life, Human Martinez? Asked an elderly alien with wrinkled green skin and long white tendrils on its head. Do you have clutch siblings? I have one brother, Olivia replied. He's 3 years younger than me. Only one, the crystal being asked. Were the others not viable? Olivia looked confused. There were no others, just me and my brother. Fascinating, said the furry alien beside her. Do humans typically produce such small clutches? We don't have clutches, Olivia explained. Human mothers usually have one baby at a time, sometimes twins or triplets, but that's less common. The table grew quieter as more aliens tuned into the conversation. Forgive my ignorance, said Exceltor, but how are your young delivered if not in clutches? Well, human babies grow inside their mothers for 9 months. Then they're born, Olivia said. They don't come from eggs. They're born alive. Complete silence fell across the dining hall. Even aliens at distant tables seemed to sense something important had happened. The elderly green alien's eyes widened. No eggs? None at all. No eggs, Olivia confirmed. Humans are mammals. We give live birth. The green alien made a strange gurgling sound and slumped in its seat. 2 of the 6-armed creatures rushed to fan it. Elder Vextari. Seltor called out, Are you unwell? Live birth, the elder whispered. No protective shell. The young emerge, wet and moving. Several aliens at nearby tables stood up in alarm. Others began talking rapidly in their native languages. The crystal beam beside Olivia began to glow brightly. What's happening? Olivia asked Kest, who had rushed to her side. You have just informed the Galactic Council that humans are viviparous, Kest explained. It appears this is extremely rare. Almost all council species are oviparous. They lay eggs. I didn't know, Olivia said, watching the chaos spread through the dining hall. No one did, Kest replied. But they certainly do now. Across the room, Elder Vextari was being helped to its feet. It pointed a trembling tendril at Olivia. The council must convene immediately, it declared. We must learn more about these live birthers from Earth. Dr. Alan Nguyen rubbed his tired eyes as the transport ship docked at Centric Station. He had been woken in the middle of the night, rushed onto a ship, and told only that there was an urgent biological situation involving Lieutenant Martinez. "Dr. Nguyen, thank you for coming so quickly," Olivia said, meeting him at the airlock. She looked exhausted. "What's going on?" Ellen asked. "They told me it was an emergency. I told the council that humans don't lay eggs," Olivia explained. "Now they want a full explanation of human reproduction." Ellen blinked. "That's the emergency. You don't understand. Every intelligent species they've ever met reproduces with eggs. They think we're strange." Kest appeared behind Olivia. "Dr. Nguyen, the science committee is waiting. I have prepared visual aids as you requested." Ellen followed them through the station. He had packed all the educational materials he could find about human reproduction and development. He hadn't slept on the journey, instead reviewing everything he would need to explain. The science committee chamber was a large circular room with rising tiers of seats. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the seats, whispering among themselves as Alan entered. At the center was a platform with a holographic projector. A large alien with purple skin and 4 eyes stood. "I am Gratol, chief scientist of the council. We welcome you, Dr. Nguyen." "Thank you," Alan said, setting up his materials. "I understand there's some confusion about human reproduction." "Confusion is an understatement," Gratol replied. "Lieutenant Martinez claims humans grow their young inside their bodies without eggs. Many find this claim difficult to believe." "It's true," Alan said. "Humans are mammals. All mammals on Earth reproduce this way." He activated the first hologram, showing human reproductive cells. "Like many species, we have 2 sexes that contribute genetic material. The female's egg cell is fertilized by the male's sperm cell." The aliens watched with intense focus as Alan continued his presentation. He showed diagrams of embryonic development, explained the function of the placenta, and displayed models of fetuses at different stages. "The embryo develops inside the uterus, protected by amniotic fluid," Alan explained. "After approximately 9 months, the baby is ready to be born." He hesitated before showing the next images. "This is childbirth. It may seem alarming to you, but it's a natural process for humans." The video of a human birth played. Gasps and clicks echoed around the chamber. One small alien fainted. Several others turned away. "The baby is born alive and fully formed." Alan continued over the commotion. "Though helpless, human infants are immediately breathing, moving, and able to nurse." "Impossible," shouted a bird-like alien. "How can the young survive without a shell? How can the mother survive such a process?" "Humans evolved this way," Alan explained patiently. "Our young develop more after birth. Our brains continue growing outside the womb." Questions came from all directions. How did humans protect their young without shells? Why didn't predators eat the helpless babies? How did human females recover from such trauma? Alan answered each question as clearly as he could. By the end of the 3-hour session, the initial shock had given way to scientific curiosity. "Remarkable," Gratol said finally. "Your species has evolved a completely different reproductive strategy than any council member. This requires further study." As Alan packed up his materials, a small group of alien scientists approached him. "Dr. Nguyen, we would like to establish a xenobiology exchange," one said. "Your mammals are fascinating." "Are there many such creatures on Earth?" "Thousands of species," Alan replied. "Whales, elephants, mice, bats, monkeys, all mammals with live birth." News of the presentation spread quickly through Centric Station. By evening, Alan couldn't walk down a corridor without aliens stopping to ask questions. Some seemed horrified, others fascinated. "You've become quite the celebrity," Olivia told him over dinner. "I never thought I'd be famous for explaining pregnancy," Alan said with a tired smile. "The council information networks are calling you the shell-less speaker," Kest informed them. "Your presentation has been viewed by millions across the galaxy." Alan sighed. "I just hope Earth sends more scientists soon. I can't be the only human explaining our biology to the entire galaxy. Too late, Olivia said, showing him her tablet. You already are. Captain Ryan Dias stood at the observation window of Earth Station Horizon, watching the alien ship approach. The vessel was egg-shaped, which Ryan now understood was no coincidence. They're requesting permission to dock, Captain, his communications officer reported. Permission granted, Ryan replied. Alert the welcoming committee. It had been 1 month since Lieutenant Martinez's revelation about human reproduction had shaken the Galactic Council. Now, a delegation of alien scientists was arriving to observe human families firsthand. Ryan met the aliens at the airlock. There were 7 of them, each from a different species. Their leader, a tall blue-skinned being named Zivra, stepped forward. Captain Dias, thank you for hosting our research team, Zivra said through a translator device. We are eager to study human family units. Welcome to Horizon Station, Ryan said. The families are ready to meet you. Ryan led them to the station's community center, where 5 human families waited. Each had volunteered to help the aliens understand human reproduction and child rearing. These are the Clarks. Ryan introduced a young couple with a newborn baby, John and Susan, and their daughter Lily. She's just 2 weeks old. The aliens crowded around, their strange eyes fixed on the tiny baby in Susan's arms. Lily was asleep, her small face peaceful. The young is so exposed, one alien whispered. No protective coverings at all. May I scan the infant? Asked a squat, green alien with multiple eyes. It held up a small device. Non-invasive, I assure you. Susan nodded, and the alien waved the scanner over Lily. The device beeped and projected a hologram showing the baby's internal systems. Fascinating, the alien muttered. Fully developed digestive system, functioning lungs, primitive but active brain patterns. Next, Ryan introduced the Johnsons, who had twin 5-year-old boys. The twins were running around, playing tag and laughing loudly. Are they always so active? Zivra asked, watching the boys with alarm. Kids have a lot of energy, Ryan explained. They need to play and move around. It's good for their development. The aliens took notes as they observed the children. They seemed particularly interested in how the parents interacted with their kids, touching and hugging them frequently. In our species, parents do not handle hatchlings until they have shed their first skin, one alien explained. The young are considered too fragile. The Rivera family had 3 children of different ages, a baby, a 10-year-old, and a teenager. The aliens were amazed at how different the children looked and behaved despite being from the same parents. Human young change so dramatically as they grow, Zivra noted. Our hatchlings emerge looking like small adults. They simply increase in size. Everything was going smoothly until baby Lily began to cry. The sound startled the aliens so badly that 2 of them activated emergency shields. What's happening? A panicked alien demanded. Is the young dying? She's just hungry, Susan explained, trying not to laugh. She began to nurse Lily. The aliens watched in stunned silence as the baby fed. The mother produces food. Zivra asked in disbelief. Breast milk, Ryan confirmed. All human mothers can feed their babies this way. This revelation seemed to shock the aliens almost as much as live birth had. They huddled together, discussing rapidly in their own languages. When they finished their tour, the alien delegation seemed overwhelmed with new information. They had filled multiple data tablets with notes and recordings. We must thank you, Captain Dias, Zivra said as they prepared to leave. What we have witnessed today will revolutionize our understanding of non-egg-laying species. Happy to help, Ryan replied. Will you be returning to the council now? Yes, Zivra said. Though I suspect this is just the beginning of our studies. The council has already approved funding for a permanent research exchange with Earth. After the aliens departed, Ryan sent a message to Lieutenant Martinez at Centric Station. Delegation visit complete. They were especially impressed by breastfeeding. Prepare council for more surprises. I didn't even tell them about teenagers and puberty yet. Ambassador Lisa Jordan stood before the Galactic Council's main chamber, trying to keep her face calm despite the growing tension. The massive room was filled with representatives from over 50 species, and many of them were angry. "The humans have hidden their true nature from us," shouted Vexlac, the representative from the Krith Dominion. His scales flashed red with anger. "How can we trust a species that carries its young inside its body like parasites?" Lisa took a deep breath. She had replaced Lieutenant Martinez as Earth's official ambassador last week, just as the political situation began to worsen. "We have hidden nothing," Lisa said clearly. "We simply didn't realize that our reproductive biology was unusual." Zeltor, the council facilitator, raised a hand for quiet. "Ambassador Jordan speaks truth. Humans have been open with all our scientific inquiries." At the back of the chamber, a group of representatives from the most conservative species huddled together, whispering. Lisa had learned that these species believed egg-laying was a sign of evolutionary superiority. They saw humans as primitive and unnatural. "We should quarantine Earth until we better understand these mammals," suggested Mokta, a representative with 6 eyes and bony ridges. What other biological surprises might they harbor? Lisa noticed several representatives nodding in agreement. This was not good. "Earth has cooperated fully," Lisa reminded them. "Our doctors and scientists have shared all data requested. We have welcomed your researchers to observe our families. We have nothing to hide." "Yet your young remain hidden until birth," said Mokta. "Convenient." Kest, who had become a strong ally to the humans, stepped forward. "The council must not let biological differences cloud our judgment. Humans have shown themselves to be peaceful and scientifically advanced." The debate continued for hours. Lisa defended Earth as best she could, but she could feel the room dividing. About half the species seemed curious and open-minded. The other half regarded humans with suspicion or outright hostility. During a break in the proceedings, Lisa received an urgent message. A group calling themselves the Shell Believers had released a statement condemning humans as unnatural abominations and calling for Earth's immediate expulsion from the Council. "This is getting out of hand," Lisa told Kest quietly. "Why are they so afraid of us?" "Many species find change difficult," Kest explained. "For millennia, they believed all intelligent life must follow certain patterns. You have broken that pattern." When the council reconvened, Zeltor announced a formal vote would be held the following week to determine Earth's status within the council. Lisa returned to her quarters feeling defeated. She contacted Earth to update them on the situation. "Keep building alliances," General Harris instructed. "Focus on the species that seem most open to us." Over the next few days, Lisa met privately with representatives from 15 different species. Some, like the Vextari, had been initially shocked, but now found humans fascinating. Others, like the Ziv, appreciated Earth's technological advances and were eager for trade. "I don't understand why reproduction matters so much in diplomatic relations," Lisa told a friendly representative named Plick. "It is not just about reproduction," Plick explained. "Many species believe the egg is sacred. It represents safety, protection, and proper order. Your live births seem chaotic and dangerous to them." On the eve of the vote, Lisa received unexpected support. The Arcasian ambassador, who had been silent throughout the debates, requested a meeting. "My people have studied your Earth biology extensively," the ambassador said. Its voice was deep and resonant. "We have discovered something remarkable. Long ago, our ancestors also gave live birth. We evolved to lay eggs as our planet's climate changed." Lisa stared in shock. "Will you tell the council?" "Tomorrow," the Arcasian promised. "You are not as different as some wish to believe." As Lisa prepared her final speech to the council, she felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps the gap between humans and aliens wasn't as wide as it had seemed. Professor Michelle Garcia adjusted her glasses as she looked out at the audience. The lecture hall on Centric Station was filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some floated, some perched, and others sat in specially designed chairs. All were here to learn about Earth's biodiversity. Thank you for attending today's presentation, Michelle began. I am Professor Garcia from Earth. I study the amazing variety of life on our planet. The large screen behind her lit up with colorful images of Earth animals and plants. Michelle had been sent to the Galactic Council as part of a new educational initiative. Her job was to help aliens understand that humans were just one type of life on a very diverse planet. Earth has over 8 million different species, Michelle explained. Some lay eggs, some give live birth, and some reproduce in ways that might surprise you. She showed images of chickens hatching from eggs, then cats with newborn kittens, then a kangaroo with a joey in its pouch. This is a marsupial, Michelle said, pointing to the kangaroo. Its babies are born very tiny and undeveloped. They finish growing in the mother's pouch. The aliens murmured with interest. One raised a tentacle. Question: do marsupials count as egg layers or live birthers? The alien asked. They give live birth, but their babies are much less developed than human babies, Michelle answered. Nature has many different solutions to the same problem. Next, Michelle showed seahorses. In this species, the male carries the babies and gives birth to them. This caused quite a stir. Several aliens began talking excitedly among themselves. And here is something really interesting, Michelle continued, showing the platypus. The platypus is a mammal like humans, but it lays eggs. Then it produces milk to feed its babies after they hatch. A tall, slender alien stood up. This cannot be true. A creature cannot both lay eggs and produce milk. On Earth, it can, Michelle said with a smile. Nature doesn't always follow our rules. Michelle's presentations became very popular. Each day, more aliens came to learn about Earth's animals. They were fascinated by the many different ways Earth creatures reproduced and raised their young. Soon, Michelle was asked to create virtual tours of Earth's ecosystems. Aliens could put on special headsets and feel like they were walking through rainforests, oceans, and deserts. Earth has evolved many different reproductive strategies. Michelle explained during one tour of the Amazon rainforest. No single way is best. Each has advantages and disadvantages. Gratul, the chief scientist who had questioned Dr. Nguyen, became one of Michelle's most enthusiastic supporters. Professor Garcia has shown us that our own evolutionary assumptions were too narrow, Gratul told the science committee. We believed all intelligent life must follow the paths we knew. We were wrong. Many alien scientists began to reconsider their own evolutionary history. Some found evidence that their ancestors might have given live birth in the distant past, before evolving to lay eggs. Evolution is not a straight line from simple to complex, Michelle explained in her most popular lecture. It's like a tree with many branches, each adapting to its environment in different ways. Not everyone was convinced. The shell believers still protested against human inclusion in the council, but their numbers were shrinking as more aliens learned about Earth's biodiversity. One evening, after a particularly successful presentation, Michelle received a message from Ambassador Jordan. Your educational program is working, Lisa wrote. Support for Earth in the Council has increased by 30%. The vote on our status has been postponed indefinitely. Michelle smiled as she looked out her window at the stars. She had come to teach aliens about Earth, but she was learning just as much about the galaxy. Maybe our differences aren't so important after all, she said to herself. Maybe they're what make life interesting. Major Steve Winters checked his security team's positions one more time. Today was important. The Galactic Council was holding a special session to vote on a new trade agreement with Earth. All 10 members of his human security team were in place around the council chamber. All sectors clear, his second-in-command reported through the earpiece. Steve nodded. In the 3 months since humans had joined the council, tensions had slowly improved. Professor Garcia's educational programs had helped many aliens understand Earth better. Ambassador Jordan had built strong alliances. Things were looking up, but not everyone was happy. The Shell believers, though smaller now, had become more extreme. Steve's team had uncovered several threats against the Earth delegation. The council session began with the usual ceremonies. Representatives from 53 species filled the chamber. Ambassador Jordan sat at the front with the senior delegates. Steve noticed something odd. A group of 6 aliens wearing maintenance uniforms entered through a side door. Maintenance workers never came during council sessions. "Team, check those workers near the east entrance," Steve whispered into his comm. As his team moved to investigate, one of the workers pulled out a strange device. Steve recognized it from the security briefings. A sonic disruptor, extremely dangerous in the enclosed chamber. "Threat detected. East entrance," Steve shouted, running toward the intruders. Chaos erupted. Council members fled their seats. Security forces from various species moved to protect their representatives. The lead intruder aimed the disruptor at Ambassador Jordan. Steve tackled the alien, and they both crashed into a row of seats. The weapon fired, sending a pulse of energy into the ceiling. "Humans have corrupted the council," the alien shouted. "The Shell believers will restore purity." The other intruders were fighting Steve's team and the council security forces. In the confusion, no one noticed a small alien child who had been visiting with its parent, now separated and crying in the center aisle. One of the intruders saw the child and aimed another weapon. Without thinking, Steve threw himself in front of the young alien. Pain exploded in his shoulder as the weapon discharged. Steve fell to the ground beside the child. The young alien had a shell-like back and 6 small limbs. It looked at him with wide, frightened eyes. "It's okay," Steve told the child, despite the pain. "Stay down." Council security forces quickly captured the remaining intruders. Medical teams rushed in to help the injured. "The human protected my hatchling," the child's parent told the council members who had remained. "He used his body as a shield." Zeltor, the council facilitator, came to where Steve was receiving medical treatment. "You risk your life for a child not of your species." Steve winced as the medics worked on his shoulder. Any of us would have done the same. A kid is a kid, eggs or no eggs. News of Steve's actions spread quickly through Centric Station and then across the galaxy. Security recordings showed the human diving to protect the alien child without hesitation. "This is bigger than you might realize," Kess told Steve as he recovered in the medical center. "Many believe humans would only protect their own kind. You have proven otherwise." Over the next few days, Steve received visitors from many species. Even former Shell believers came to express their gratitude and apologize for their prejudice. "I don't understand," Steve told Ambassador Jordan when she visited. "All I did was what anyone would do." "That's exactly the point," Lisa explained. "You showed them that despite our biological differences, we share the same core values. Protection of the young is sacred to all species." When Steve was well enough to leave the medical center, he found a crowd of aliens waiting outside. They formed an honor tunnel for him to walk through. At the end stood the young alien he had protected, holding a small object. "For you," the child said, offering a piece of its own recently shed shell, decorated with colorful symbols. "My molt gift. So you will always be part of my clutch." Steve carefully accepted the gift, understanding it was a profound honor. "Thank you," he said simply, as humans and aliens alike looked on with hope for the future. 1 year after Lieutenant Olivia Martinez first shocked the Galactic Council with the news that human babies don't hatch from eggs, Earth was hosting the first Galactic Family Symposium. The event was being held in a huge dome, built specially in Geneva, Switzerland. Olivia, now Earth's permanent ambassador to the Council, stood at the entrance greeting delegates as they arrived. She could hardly believe how much had changed in just 1 year. "Ambassador Martinez, what an honor to see you again," said Elder Vexteri, the same elderly green alien who had fainted at that first dinner. Now they were friends. "The honor is mine." Elder, Olivia replied with a smile. I'm glad you could attend. Inside the dome, over 200 alien species had gathered. Some had traveled for months to reach Earth. Tables displayed family structures from across the galaxy. Holographic presentations showed different ways of raising children. There were even nurseries where visitors could observe human babies and alien hatchlings. Dr. Alan Nguyen was there too, leading a panel on comparative biology. Captain Ryan Dias was showing alien visitors around Earth's first interspecies daycare center. Professor Michelle Garcia was unveiling a new virtual museum of galactic biodiversity. It's time for your opening speech, Kest reminded Olivia. The mantis-like alien had become Earth's official liaison and Olivia's close friend. Olivia walked to the center stage as the crowd quieted. She looked out at the sea of different beings, some with scales, some with tentacles, some made of crystal or living metal. All were here to celebrate family in its many forms. 1 year ago, I told the council that humans don't lay eggs, Olivia began. I had no idea how important that simple fact would become. The audience chittered and murmured in agreement. At first, our differences seemed to separate us. But as we learned more about each other, we found something remarkable. Family matters to all of us. Whether you're young hatched from eggs or are born live, whether you have 2 parents or 10, whether you mature in days or decades, we all care for our children and want them to thrive. Across the hall, Major Steve Winters stood with the alien child he had saved. The young one had adopted Steve as an honorary clutch parent, an unprecedented honor for a human. Today we dedicate the memorial to the great egg misconception, Olivia continued, not to mock our misunderstanding, but to celebrate how we moved past it. She unveiled a sculpture showing 2 hands, one human and one alien, holding both an egg and a human baby. It would stand permanently at Centric Station. The Council has also approved a new classification system for sentient species, Olivia announced, one that doesn't prioritize reproductive methods but focuses on shared values and capabilities. This announcement was met with loud approval. It was something Ambassador Lisa Jordan had worked hard to achieve. After the ceremony, Olivia walked among the exhibits with Seltor, the Council facilitator. Did you ever imagine this outcome when I first mentioned human reproduction? Olivia asked. Never, Seltor admitted. I thought it might end diplomatic relations before they began. Instead, it has brought us closer together. They stopped at a display showing the diversity of Earth animals. The platypus exhibit was particularly popular with alien visitors. Your planet is remarkable, Seltor said. So many different ways of living, all successful. The galaxy is the same, Olivia replied. We just needed to open our eyes to see it. As the symposium continued, humans and aliens shared stories, compared notes on raising children, and laughed about the cultural misunderstandings they had overcome. In a quiet corner, a human mother nursed her baby while an alien parent tended to recently hatched young. They couldn't speak each other's languages, but they exchanged knowing looks, the universal understanding of parents across the stars. What had begun as a shocking revelation had transformed into something beautiful, a galactic community that celebrated its differences instead of fearing them. And it had all started because human babies don't hatch from eggs.